This is a USB camera for looking at, well, in my case, PCBs close up. So, yeah, it goes great. It was as cheap as chips, really. I think it was around $18. I'll put a link here. Um, and it's been good, especially for the Paduk project, which is very SMD based, and sometimes I have to look at the STM32 to see if there's any solder bridges on there. So yeah, that's been very handy for that, and it came with a stand, which is this guy, and as originally put together, this little ball sat in here, and then this sat in here. So yeah, everything was going well until one day when I was maneuvering the picture to a different angle, and I don't know what happened, but this bit snapped. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and extend my FreeCAD skills to make something similar. I've got some clear PLA, not that it really has to be clear, but just for effect. And I just take some measurements first with this thing, and see if I can't reproduce this on FreeCAD and then 3D print a new version of it so that I can put this camera back on the stand and be back in business again. That's the plan. Okay, so I've just super glued those together, those two bits on that holder. Not in any anticipation of that super glue holding, but just so that I can do some measurements, really. So I'm guessing that one thing which would be nice would be the diameter. And I guess inner diameter would be the first one to get, so let's have a look at that. So inner diameter. Right, so, these are very crude numbers actually, but I'm operating on the fact that the hypotenuse of this triangle here is 16, and that this length along here, which is our opposite, so this is our adjacent side, is 15 millimeters, and therefore, if we do cos the minus 1 of 15 over 16, that's giving us about 20 degrees. But yeah, I'm not convinced about this diagram. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take a photo of this and I'm going to superimpose this on one of my old favorite pieces of software, which is Geogebra. And just going to do those measurements online as well to confirm. I think eyeballing it, it's probably around 20 to 25 degrees. I don't think it matters that much, but I'm just curious to find out what Geogebra makes of it. These little knobby bits on here are going to be interesting to do, as well as, I don't know if you can see it, but the inner ridge in there, which is used to hold this inner ridge here, which is used to hold this whole camera into, or the camera body into this holder. So, all right, next up, let's take a snapshot and put onto GeoGebra, and we'll go from there to see what these angles are, and maybe some of the measurements as well. I'm really not sure. I guess what we need for that is going to need some scale. So if I put this beside it and take the picture, let's just zoom out a little bit, that might help as well to get some idea of what the scale is. So I'll do that, and we'll go from there. Here's the GeoGebra interface. I'm going to just add my image, which is my holder, and then I'm going to try and find the center of this circle. So if we go around about here, that's not too bad. And then we'll draw an interval from one side to the other, maybe up a little higher. I can adjust that, and we'll go from the top to the other side. It's not too bad, just up a touch on this side and on this side. Yeah, that's pretty good. And finally, we're going to measure the angle between this interval and this interval, and it's come out as 18 degrees. So, yep, somewhere between
I would say maybe 20 and 25 should be about right. So in FreeCAD, under Part Design, I'm going to go to the Sketcher, the XZ plane, and I'm going to start by drawing an arc just above the origin, and I'm going to go out to the inner diameter of 16, and we're going to go up to 20 degrees or thereabouts, not being too fussed, and around the other side to 20, just 20 degrees on the other side, and then that was the inner arc, so now we'll do the external one, add a couple of millimeters to get to 18-ish, and around the other side to 220. Then we've got a couple of points to make sure that this is complete using line segments. We won't be able to pad it out unless it is complete. It's nice. So let's pad that out to 16 millimeters, which is the width of the holder. And then we can see what that looks like. Okay, that's not a bad start. So let's go back to Sketcher again, and we'll do the little ridge in the middle, which is required to hold the camera into the holder. Start at the same center of the circle. This time we'll go to maybe something like 5 degrees, and around the other side the same. And then I'll just go to wireframe so I can see that. There we go. And then another arc, same center, and we'll go a little bit closer. That's about 1.5 millimeters. Not measuring this exactly at this stage, not that fussed. And again, connect up the inner to the outer, making sure you hit those marks so that when we pad it out, there's no gaps. And we pad that out to around 2 millimeters. Okay, back to shaded, see what that looks like. Yep, that's not too bad. What we want to do though is we want to move this one. So if we go to the sketch, and we can actually move maybe 7 millimeters in, is good. Okay, so now what we want to do is go to part, and we want to add our sphere, and we want to add our cylinder. Now we look at the radius of the sphere, it's 5 millimeters, which gives us a diameter of 10, so that's fine. And this radius is 2 millimeters, let's make that 3 a little bit thicker. And we'll also make the height the 5 of the, I'll go to wireframe and just make sure. Yep, so that's in the center, so that's your 5 millimeters, and it was 8 on the other side, so that's 13 all up. Yep, that is absolutely perfect. Okay, so back to shaded, and we just want to check to see now that it's in the right position, which it isn't. So we need to move that across. Let's get the right picture. So if we move this in terms of the placement, so the position on the y-axis will come into 8 will be center. Same with the sphere. That's it. And that's pretty much it. I might round off those corners and then we'll export. Okay, so I've rounded off some of these corners here. Let's just do the last corner. Always easy to do in wireframe. So I'm just going to highlight that, go to the rounded corner, change to the same as the others, 3 millimeters, and then OK. And then back to solid. And that is our holder ready for printing. And to do that, we just pick the things that we want to actually export. So we go to all of those, and then we just go to export, and we'll make this STL, and well, there's quite a few different variations there. Let's go to holder 2, and we are done. Okay, so Ultimaker Cura, we will open the STL file, and we can zoom in and have a bit of a look. So that looks pretty good. One of the things that we probably need to do is to pitch it so that it's actually on the right level. So if we go to our rotate, so select this and then select the face to rotate, then it just pitches down, which is nice. That's pretty much what we want. What we do want is we want to make sure that we've got maybe up to 50% infill. Default profile looks good, and adhesion and support, so we just slice that and preview it. Yep, so that looks pretty good. So what I'll do now is save the G code, and we are good to print. And here we are with the Creality Ender 3 V2 doing its thing with the clear PLA. So now we just wait 40 something minutes, and we'll see if all that design work has been in vain.
End result. Just get rid of the support, and yeah, that looks actually pretty good. And there's the bit underneath the ball here. Not bad. Not too much cleanup required on that. So that's pretty good. Some stringing, which is interesting. I've seen an awful lot of that before. But the real moment of truth is, how does it plug in to the existing holder? So, oh, that's, wow. That is pretty nice. There's a little bit of give there, which you need, but it actually grips on pretty well with a nice clip. So yeah, good result. I'll put it back on the stand and we are good to go. A little bit fiddly to put it back on with the having to get this ball and this ball in at the same time, but yeah, that's nice. So the stand's complete, clips in, and right to now go back to taking pictures of very small things. See you next time.